continues. It looks like it continues to grow. Is that right?
Continually, yeah. It's actually more widespread now. As you know, the book's now gone into 6 different languages. There are a lot of people from all sections of life, not just to do with abuse, but all to do with other areas of negative emotions that they've suffered through mental health, through abuse, through dysfunctional families. They seem to have hooked onto the book as well and find something in the book that actually helps them. As I run my Survivors United in Survival page on Facebook, people are getting in touch just for support, sometimes just to know that there are other people that are going through the same situation. And the book is continually selling out. So it's not something that I thought after 2 or 3 years the book would fade. It's actually getting stronger the more years the book is in view.
Is there a second book in this? Is there a second book in you?
There's 2 or 3 more books in me, but unfortunately, due to being under police protection, I'm not allowed to do publicity and go and be visibly seen in places and have my name in the media because my life's at risk. So what I tend to do now is just sit and wait. And it is a waiting game, but then books are written and then books will be out there, but unfortunately, it's not down to me when them books are published.
Are there typical questions that people ask you?
The main question is, how can I stop thinking about the pain? And there are no easy answers because each individual suffers in an individual way. What I tend to think, I work with CBT, change the way that you think to change the way that you feel.
Paul, yes. How did you get into writing?
I did it as a hobby to begin with, and I just thought I'd do it as peace of mind. I had a little story of a nucleus of using a shark, and I wanted to put it out there. And I'd read lots of shark books, lots of creature features, and I wanted to sort of build on my own little story that I had, and it went on from there.
And what about that next step? Once you finished your manuscript, how did you take that next step to go to a publisher?
I went online, did a little research, who to contact, which publishers, how to find agents. I managed to find an agent who put me onto a self-publishing site. From then I went and managed to find another publisher who contacted me, basically liked the story, and went on from there.
So how many books have you written so far?
I've written 1 so far that's been published. I've got another 3 or 4 with the publishers. 2 have been edited, just waiting for them for release dates, and I'm writing the sequel to my current book, Shark, at the moment.
So tell us about Shark. What's that about?
Shark is about a prehistoric megalodon, and it surfaces in present time along the Pacific, and it terrorises a floating city called the Aquatic Research City, which is it's in captivity, it escapes, and then it's up to the people on board to capture it.
And what's your writing process? Do you write every day, or how do you go about it?
I try and write every day. I write in the mornings on the way to work, on the way home from work, lunchtimes, try and do it in the evenings, fit it in whenever I can really, but I've got 2 young children and it's quite difficult.
So anybody looking in who's thinking about getting into writing, what's your advice about the first steps?
My advice is the first step, if you have an idea, go with it, build on it, and if you're confident doing it, then just keep going, basically.
It's about 4 years since we last spoke and filmed you, and the second novel's out. Tell us about the second novel.
The second one is a sequel to the first because it spans 4 or 5 years of a young girl's life and love, and set in a fictitious village in the fens of Cambridgeshire. So it just carries on the story, and hopefully it's got a good conclusion.
And have you enjoyed writing the second one as much as you did the first?
Yes, I have, because I knew there was more to tell of the story in my mind. So, it was good to carry it on and finish it how I wanted to. But in the back of my mind, I sort of think maybe there's another one there.
So you're not going to finish now? There's 2 down?
2 down, maybe another 1 or 2.
Is it good to be here today with all the different writers and to see a different selection of styles?
Yes, it is. To speak to other writers, and I've not got time to walk around as yet, but I've spoken to a few, and it's quite quite interesting. I've not done this before, so
It's a good idea,
it's
isn't
good
it?
to talk to other writers.
And what's your book here at the Thurrock Writers Festival about Planet Madness? What do you mean by Planet Madness?
Basically, it's a journey I've took. I've ended up in mental asylums. It's an observation on what goes on inside them. Dealing with bipolar disorder, dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, both debilitating illnesses which have conquered me at times, but now I'm on the other side. I'm on recovery stages. I've wrote this book and hopefully it can help other people.
So you say conquered you at times, in what way did it conquer you?
Well, I was flummoxed by depression, rage, panic attacks, flashbacks, nightmares. I had the whole shooting match, and it's not been too good at times. It's been quite a mess. I've been in a mess over decades, but now we're coming out the other side. We've started a charity. It's for self-help depression groups, and it's putting back in. In a sense, you become an expert through experience from the turmoil you go through.
I stopped you mid-illustration. Tell us a little bit about your writing and your work.
This is my first novel that I've done. I've done a collection of short stories and a comic. Currently working on a graphic novel. I try and do writing when I can, really weekends, evenings.
What do you prefer, the writing or the illustration?
Depends really. Whatever I'm in the mood for doing, really. A lot of years I spent a lot of years drawing and trying to get somewhere, but didn't really get anywhere with the drawing. And I seem to have more success with the writing, really.
So in front of us, Legend of the Lone Star. Tell us about that.
It's based on a true story of a local woman who went to Wisconsin in the 1920s. Then she had this affair with this American Indian preacher. It's just about their story and how they got together and how there were family conflicts and because Indian issues, sort of the oppressed Indians in the 1920s and their fight with the governments and just a conflict of two cultures.
And we've also interviewed you before, and quite a few of the writers here. They've got more than one book, and here you are about to launch your second book. Tell us about the second book.
It's actually the third book. This book is called Food Now and Then, and it's about the food history of Thurrock, and it also contains recipes that have been donated to me by residents of Thurrock, by local Thurrock councillors, by the Mayor, Thurrock's MPs. They've all shown a great interest in contributing to the book because all monies raised from the book sales are being donated to Thurrock Food Bank.
We've spoken to Anne about the recipes and what she brought to the book, but the history sounds fascinating of foodstuffs in Thurrock.
I mean, by chance we met and we're talking about books, and it's quite obvious that there's a strong link between food and history in Thurrock. So I just went through the archives and records and looked up interesting facts about food production, sale of food, markets, restaurants, and just put that little element in, which hopefully gives it a little bit more of a unique feel, not just a recipe book. But of course we're both quite passionate to support Thurrock Food Bank, and so there's lots of bits about economy of food, etc., to help people.
And even on a skim through the proof copy, things like saffron in London and oysters and these too. Fascinating.
Things that I know, because I see them every day in the museum, and it's just nice to share that with the local community about how things were grown locally and harvested locally. So I think they'll find it interesting and wholesome